stressed for so long, so stuck in my own way.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kaylin, and we are back with another video. Today's video is my pregnancy update. This is like pretty much the only pregnancy Q&A video that I have done for this pregnancy. I just woke up from a 3-hour nap. We are in the end of it, but I wanted to make sure to do a Q&A of just going over some of the questions that people have already asked me already, or questions that are just good to know and that may help someone out there. So this video is a pregnancy Q&A, second time mom edition. If along the way I do not answer a question that you might have, drop it down below, and maybe like when the baby's here, or if it's just like a couple questions, I'll answer them in like a different video, or just comment back. But leave down any other questions that you may have down below. But I'll probably do another one afterwards because I'll have the whole experience of like the birth and how it all went. So we'll probably just do another pregnancy or postpartum update afterwards. So backstory, I already told you guys I'm a second time mom. I have a 2-year-old daughter already. She was born at 33 weeks. She was a preemie. I had a unexpected high-risk pregnancy with her. She ended up coming at 33 weeks due to HELLP syndrome, which is a condition in the mom. It's like severe preeclampsia, so it's basically very life or death. I had to have her emergency C-section due to the labs and everything that were drawn in the hospital. It wasn't safe for me to be up, so I had an emergency C-section under general anesthesia, so I was not awake during her birthing process. I didn't see her after. She had a NICU stay for a month, and I met her the next day after I was like all recovered and everything. So that's just a little background. I have plenty of videos talking about all that. If you want to hear more about like, you know, my birth experience, I have the vlog of actually in real time 2 years ago that you can go ahead and watch. I'll leave down below, and then I have a video that was recent about just how it is after having birth trauma. So I am a NICU preemie mom. I can relate to all the NICU preemie mamas out there and just encourage you as much as I can. So if you are going through it right now, or if you have been, you know, we are able to connect and talk about things, because it's different to have that support of someone who understands what you're going through. So if you have any questions about that stuff, even though it happened before, I can gladly talk with you guys. So first question is, how did your second pregnancy differ from your first? It has been drastically different. First of all, the fact that I'm sitting here today at 38 weeks, I didn't know how it felt to be like this big. I didn't know how it felt to make it this far. The main differences is that because my first pregnancy was high risk, they have been watching me closely since the day that I told them that I was pregnant. I've had much more frequent doctor's appointments. I've had plenty of ultrasounds. I think like in the beginning, all my ultrasounds were every 4 weeks, and then slowly got more and more frequent, as well as doctor's appointments. So at this point, for the past like 2 months, I think I've had ultrasounds every 1 to 2 weeks. Right now they've been every single week. So the closer that I've been getting to the due date is how frequent they've been. So I've been in the doctor's office 2 times a week. So they have been on it. They have been watching me. They have been watching baby. I've been getting labs very often. I would say all the labs that would affect like me ever developing HELLP syndrome or preeclampsia in any way, they've been checking like every 4 weeks. I just got checked again 2 weeks ago. Everything was good. So it's just been a lot of monitoring, which has kind of been exhausting, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm glad that they're taking it very seriously and watching me. With Cam, my first trimesters weren't terrible. So those have been kind of the same. I was just tired, you know, had the same symptoms for the most part. But this time I can say that first trimester, the nausea was a little bit worse. I was just always nauseous. And I remember that with Cam, but it wasn't as bad. So this was definitely a lot more nausea, a lot more heartburn throughout this entire pregnancy, but nothing else crazy. So with Cam, my second trimester was the start of where things took a turn physically for me. With Cam, my second trimester was painful. Like my ribs were displaced. I was going to go see a chiropractor. There was just a lot of stuff going on that just was just like, oh, my body was just not feeling being pregnant and widening out and squishing all my organs up, and it was not a fun time. It was very painful, and I remember having to like switch my work schedule to work 8-hour shifts because I couldn't stand as much. So physically, the second trimester was worse with Cam the first time. This second trimester was pretty much beautiful. I don't think I had any issues at all. And then the third trimester obviously was cut short the first time. I was very, very swollen very early on. I actually looked back at pictures and was like comparing between like 25 to 33 weeks between both of them, and I was so swollen swollen in the face. My hands were very swollen. My feet were swollen. I was just huge to have just like this 3-pound baby in me. So it was a lot of fluid, and yeah, that was like probably one of the number one signs that just went missing, because it's your first pregnancy. You don't know how your body's reacting, but I was swollen to a T, and I was like slowly progressing and being worse and worse, and then ended up going into the syndrome and having her. So this time around, I don't think I've been swollen at all. I think I've been great. Like a little bit of swelling with normal, nothing crazy. Like my face has been looking good. My weight has been fine. Like my hands aren't fat like they were with her. My feet aren't swollen, like maybe like minimal, but nothing near how they were the first time. So that would be the main differences that I can say from the first and second pregnancy. Obviously the second pregnancy comes with a little bit more mental challenges, with just like my anxiety around being pregnant again, handling a toddler at the same time being pregnant. That is the number one thing that no one really warned you about. Like especially now, the third trimester, it is hard with a toddler when you are tired, but it's hard also in the first trimester when you're sick, you're not feeling well. It's just very hard to not feel bad and like be hard on yourself for not being able to do the things you need to do or want to do, because your body's going through so much. So I think that's another thing, is being pregnant with a toddler. It's hard, but it's doable if you have help. That's the main difference from the first and second. So next question is, was there anything you did differently during your second pregnancy as far as diet, exercise, and rest? So honestly, I think I worked out more with Cam. I was feeling just a little bit better. Like I had more energy. In the beginning of this pregnancy, I kind of worked out like the first trimester, and then it just kind of fell off, and I just did more so of like walking outside. Like we took family walks together. We went to the park together. So I kind of tried to stay active, but I have not like been like going ham in the gym or like getting on the treadmill. Like I've just been resting and just listening to my body this time around, giving myself grace. As long as I'm like eating okay and I still was like moving and like I said, going on the walk, I wasn't really stressed about the whole exercise part. I can say I've been eating a lot healthier this pregnancy due to the hungry route that we use, and like we were on HelloFresh and doing all these meal services that have healthy options. So I have been mindful of like the junk food, and I still indulge sometimes, but it's definitely been like a healthier diet this time around. And I think I definitely am drinking way more water. Yeah, just trying to be mindful of those kind of things. As far as resting, I've been resting. Like I have just been napping it up. I just said, I just woke up from a 3-hour nap. I have been just taking care of myself, listening to my body. I need rest. You're literally growing a human, and you need rest. You need rest so that the baby can grow and be healthy, and you need it for you. Like it's exhausting. First trimester, third trimester is just, the title is exhaustion, and you just have to take care of yourself. So I've been making sure, like at this point, I've just been asleep most of the time. I'm up for a little bit, but I'm napping when Cam naps. Kind of like I'm reverting back to the newborn stage, like nap when the baby naps. That's what I've been doing. So that's pretty much it. And then the difference between this pregnancy and the last pregnancy, they already had me taking 1 baby aspirin a day starting at 12 weeks, just to like lower the chances of having preeclampsia or high blood pressure. Since I had that my first pregnancy, this time they have me taking 2 doses of aspirin. So I've been taking my 2 doses of aspirin since 12 weeks, along with my prenatal, along with my allergy medicine. So that's the medicine that I have. I have like a little medication like wheel. I just have to make sure that I really am taking my medicine every single day. So that's it. I just had to take 1 extra dose of the aspirin, which I think like so far, I mean, I guess I can say it's been working, but they say if it's happened to you before, upping the dose minimizes the chances of it happening again, and so far so good. So that's the only other thing different wise. So question number 3, how did you prepare your first child for the arrival of a new sibling? So she's 2, and it's very hard to know if she kind of is grasping what we're talking about. But I talked with my doctor and just like a few people, like a few coworkers and friends who had babies that have more than 1 child, what they did. And most of the people said like reading them books. So we have 2 big sister books that we read to her about, you know, just being a big sister, what it means. She's seeing the pictures and everything. And then we we actually just started maybe a few weeks ago when we put up everything in the house, like letting her see it and saying like, oh, Sissy's gonna be sleeping here. This is Sissy's bed. This is Sissy's this. Like, we've been doing that with her. So now when she's walking around the house, she's literally like, oh, Sissy's stuff. And we just actually started giving her a little baby doll so she can carry it around, and she's been putting it in the bassinet. She's been putting it in the crib. She's been like walking around like, baby walking, baby sleeping, baby needs a blanket. Like, so we're trying to get her into like, okay, like, we're gonna have a baby here. You're gonna be helping mommy and daddy with the baby. But I think that the little baby doll is gonna be good because I'll have her sister and then she'll be able to have the baby doll, and kind of like, she's into the role modeling, like playing right now. Like, she likes to mimic everything that I do. So she'll be able to change her baby while I'm changing the baby. Like, I'm gonna try to make it very interactive with her. So I think she's catching on. But those are the main things we did: books, a baby doll, and then just talking out and trying to like introduce it. I think there's some like YouTube channel, like YouTube things, like videos or something out there that probably have like stuff for siblings and stuff so they can see, like probably Miss Rachel and all that kind of stuff. But we haven't done any of that, but I'm sure that's out there. Question number 4, did you experience any new symptoms or complications the second time around? No new symptoms. It's been an easier ride for sure. It's been an easier ride. Physically, I've just been trying not to do too much in my body. So I actually have been out of work since, I want to say I've been out of work since 36 or 37 weeks. I want to say like around that time I stopped working, and I've been on short-term disability just because I was like overexerting myself at work and it was ridiculous. My doctor had to put in work restrictions. They were denied. They weren't able to be accommodated because I work night shift, and I cannot work day shift because we don't put Cam in daycare, and it's like too short notice to be trying to worry about all that kind of stuff. And honestly, like, I need to be resting, being high risk. I just don't want to risk hurting myself or anything like that. So I've been out of work. So that is what I can say. Like, physically, it's just been a little bit more exhausting because yes, I've been pregnant before, but my body is not used to carrying a child. Like, this is basically my first experience carrying a child this long and reaching the end of the pregnancy towards full term. Like, I haven't done that. I had her at 33 weeks. So it's been literally 5 weeks now of something I've never experienced, and it's been a lot on my body, just like physically walking around, moving, and just being tired. So it's been good to be home. But that's like the only thing that would be new. The first time around, I didn't have any complications as far as like gestational diabetes or anything. That kept coming up this pregnancy because she showed to be a little bit bigger in one of the ultrasounds. I think she was like in the 92 percentile, and they were like, did you take your glucose test? And what was the result? And I passed the first 1 hour glucose test perfectly fine. So they said they would, recheck her weight in the next scan. Next scan comes, she's like 70% or something like that, 70 percentile, which is great. But then they're like, okay, your amniotic fluid is increasing. It's a little bit more than usual, which could be a sign of like a bigger baby or gestational diabetes. So because I took the glucose test weeks and weeks ago, just the other week they had me retake it again. So I had to do the hour glucose test again. You don't have to fast for it. It's like such like a thing. You don't have to fast for it, but some people do. It's just like the hour when you're not supposed to. So I did not fast, but I didn't eat anything that morning. But I guess maybe the things that I ate the day before, I was snacking a little bit too much. I don't know. But I ended up failing the 1 hour one again the second time by 4 points. So they're like, okay, you either have to prick yourself at home for a week and monitor your sugars, or you can do the 3 hour glucose test. So I had to do the 3 hour glucose test, and I ended up passing that with flying colors, and it was fine. So that is the only thing that came up, is like the questionable of gestational diabetes. She is bigger. She's a bigger baby than her sister. We'll find out what she weighs in the next ultrasound and then go from there. But my amniotic fluid has been continuing to go up, but they said it's still like in the mild range, so it's not concerning. Baby's almost here, so it's just like they're just gonna keep monitoring it. And they said that it can be a thing that happens when the babies are just bigger and they're just putting out like a lot more fluid. So God's got us, but that's the only difference this time around as far as symptoms wise. The first pregnancy though, I can remember I got nosebleeds at some point, and it was just kind of like ridiculous, and I've never gotten a nosebleed in my life, but I got those with Cam. I think like in the second trimester. I have not had any of that this pregnancy, so that was like a wonky symptom. but I know that you can get that as well. Question number 5. How did you manage balancing your first child and pregnancy symptoms? Prayer. Help and prayer. Just trying to be patient, just giving myself grace, giving her grace, like trying to keep her in her routine and schedule as best as I can. It hasn't been impossible. I can say that it's the hardest has been like the 3rd trimester, and her jumping on me and climbing on me and, you know, wanting to be on like 100 all day every day, and it's just like mommy doesn't have energy to do that. But I try to keep things as normal as I can for her. Me and my husband do a great job of like the teamwork of him taking after her so that I can lay down or take a nap if I need to, but we've just been like pushing through and doing the best that we can. It hasn't been terrible. Like, yes, it's hard, but you kind of have to think of them like they don't know what's going on. They're in their stage of playing. Like, she's in her own world. She does not understand that mommy's tired, mommy has a baby in her. Like, she doesn't understand that. So just the balance of it is me and my husband doing a good job of just knowing like, hey, I need a break, I need to go lay down, can you swap out? And then the same thing with him. I like give him a lot of credit because I think sometimes dads can, you know, be forgotten about, but he has been doing literally like everything in the house because I don't have the energy to do it, especially now. In the beginning it was a little bit better, but like now he's pretty much been doing like 95 to 100% of everything household wise, taking care of us. So it's like thankful for him doing that, because if it wasn't for him, I honestly don't know how things would get done. How would we all eat all night and the clothes get washed and the house be clean? Like, it would be impossible. So definitely teamwork with each other has been the main thing of balancing everything, and then just giving her the attention that she needs. And if we need people to come help and watch her, like if we need to let her have some time, we've been doing a lot of outings this year. We've been taking her places, so sometimes it's like, so she's not cooped up in the house, taking her out and doing activities, going to the park, going to museums, hanging out with her cousins, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much how we've been balancing. Just gotta give yourself grace. Number 6, did you have different cravings or aversions this time? I feel like this time it's been more healthy. Like, I've been wanting fruit, I've been wanting like garden salads, chicken salads, like all that kind of stuff. Both babies I've wanted healthy stuff, which is just strange, but good, but strange. I haven't had any crazy cravings. I would say with this pregnancy, my number 1 craving has been orange juice. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but I have to have a cup of orange juice every day, if not 2 times a day. Like, I just want orange juice all the time. So that, I would say, has been my number 1 craving for sure. But like, I've been wanting fruits, smoothies, like all that stuff, and also pizza too. But that's just, I love pizza anyway, so I don't know if that's a craving. With Cam, it was Caesar salads. I could not stop eating Caesar salads. I wanted a Caesar salad all the time. And waffles and fruit. I could not stop going to the diner with Cam for waffles and fruit. Every time I went out, I wanted waffles with fruit. And it's funny because she loves pancakes and fruit. So it's like, wow, wonder if this baby will have an orange juice obsession, because I just been loving orange juice. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I wouldn't say any wild cravings or aversions. With Cam, I didn't want salmon. With this baby, I couldn't handle steak in the beginning, but now I'm fine with everything. Question number 7. How did you feel emotionally during your 2nd pregnancy? Did you feel more relaxed or more stressed? I feel like emotionally it was worse in the beginning. Not worse, because I was excited, obviously, but like just with, okay, we're doing this again. The first time it didn't really go as expected or planned, trying to keep my anxiety down. But I think I've been able to handle everything so well emotionally because of the support and being in therapy and all that kind of stuff. So I've been actively in therapy since having Cam, and it's just been nice to have someone to talk to you about everything, and who's checking in on me and supporting me and making sure that I'm okay. And that has been like number 1. My relationship with God has been obviously at the forefront this pregnancy, and just always, like, since Cam, my relationship with God has just soared, and we're just continuing to build on that each day. And that is something that has kept me mentally sane and well. I can't say that I wasn't really stressed with Cam because everything happened so quickly. It was more so like the aftermath of everything and like the postpartum side, which that could be like a whole different video, but that was like the hardest part with her. So I feel like that might bring up stuff like postpartum wise as we're getting closer. You know, obviously it's normal to be like nervous and stuff like that, but I just have total faith in God that he's going to get us through and he has a plan. And I'm not gonna sit here and worry about it. I, you know, have been talking about it. My husband's here to support me. It's in God's hands, and that's how I am mentally, like that's how I've been mentally this whole pregnancy. So that's how I've been getting along. I feel great. I feel hopeful, and you know, I just am trusting in God. Question 8, what advice would you give for getting through the first trimester while caring for a toddler or younger child? You're gonna have to lean on your support system, like if you have one. It's hard, like I was saying, like you just have to give yourself grace. It is exhausting. You're tired, you are just like trying to make it through each day. The main difference is like when it's your first child, you can just lay around, you can just relax, go sleep, like you don't have anything to worry about. But when you have another child already, it's like you're feeling all of this and you just want to go lay down, but you can't because you have a child. So for me it was different because we don't put Cam in daycare, so she's here every single day and there is no quote unquote like break from her. So if your kids are in daycare, you know, you have a little bit more, or school, you have a little bit more wiggle room with your day because they're not there for part of the day, but that can kind of give you some time. But as far as advice, is just giving yourself grace and asking for help if you need it. You're not going to be able to manage it and like stay sane mentally and emotionally and physically because you're going to be tired and you need to rest and you need to take care of yourself too. So you're gonna need help in some way. That is like my biggest advice, like you're gonna need help. We also didn't like tell people that we were pregnant until the first trimester is pretty much over, so that was another thing. We didn't ask for help like in that way, like maybe she spent the night or something and people didn't know, but help, you're gonna need help. Question 9, how are you planning your postpartum care with the second child? I had a C-section the first time, so I have like knowledge of like the things that I need for recovery. So I pretty much, which C-section and vaginal delivery is pretty much the same postpartum stuff. I have the Freedom Mom underwear, I have the Freedom Mom ice packs, I have the peri bottle, diapers, heating pad. Like there's nothing crazy. The only thing about with a C-section is your scar is like pretty much on your underwear line, so making sure you have like underwear that go above your underwear line, like high-waisted underwear if you're gonna be wearing regular underwear. I am all for the Freedom Mom boy shorts or diapers in the first week or two because we don't have time for that rubbing against your incision. It's like gonna be painful to recover. That's pretty much it postpartum wise. I can't say that there's anything. I already have like the belly bands and everything, so that's all stuff that you use, but you can look up little videos on YouTube of what people get. You can ask around, but you don't really need too much. The hospital honestly provides you with everything you need, but if you're having a C-section, like my number one thing is the underwear and a band, belly band, and yeah, know that you will still bleed anyway. Even if you didn't have a vaginal delivery, you still bleed just as you would with a vaginal delivery, so that's why I opt for diapers too. But yeah, that's how. I have a little postpartum cart in the bathroom that's already stocked and ready. I also have the witch hazel pads, hemorrhoid cream and wipes, all that good stuff, the Tux pads, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much the same stuff you would need for a regular birth. That's pretty much it. I just already have the cart and everything ready to go. Last time I didn't have anything prepared because it was 7 weeks early, so this time around the whole house is ready. The nursery's ready, my stuff's ready, the bedside nursery's ready, the house is ready, the hospital bags are packed and in the car. Like this time everything is ready. What's one thing you wished you'd known before your second pregnancy? I think the number one thing, like I was talking about earlier, is just how hard it is adjusting to being pregnant with a toddler, just with the energy wise and like how much it takes out of you and how like you have to learn how to balance and like just give yourself grace during that time. So the other question was, were you planning to have a C-section with this baby, or are you trying for a VBAC? And this time it's just, I had an emergency C-section the first time. I'm kind of in the mindset of like, for me, my birth was traumatic, so I know some people are like, you don't need to have a C-section, blah blah blah, like if you're allowed to, like just do vaginal. That's like, everyone has their own opinion and preference. But for me, like mentally, and why we decided to have another C-section is just to have that day and it just be like a relaxing, like, okay, we know what day is that she's coming. We know kind of like I can prepare for it in a way, because the last time I did not get to prepare at all. It just was just like totally unexpected. So I didn't want to really do a vaginal delivery and end up in it leading up to a C-section anyway, if that makes sense. Like, you just never know how things are gonna go. So I kind of just wanted the C-section. I've had it before. It will be a new experience because I'll be awake this time. So it's still gonna be a new experience for me, but I just feel like, okay, I know the recovery part of it. I know how to take care of myself after. I am a PACU nurse, so I kind of have experience with surgeries and stuff, so I kind of know the deal of the process and everything that I can do to help myself in the recovery process. So it's just my preference to have a scheduled C-section this time, just so that I can, you know, have like my nerves be a little bit lower, and then I can just prepare the best way that I can. Now, baby could always still just come early, and they said like if you want to try for a vaginal birth, you could if your water were to break and stuff like that. So you never know, it could be like an end of the, like at that moment situation where I change my mind, but I just don't think that right now I'll be doing that. I don't know. I think we're just shooting for the C-section. How do you plan on navigating work and childcare with the new addition? Will they be going to daycare or are you staying home? So that's a good question. Being a nurse, I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule, which is why we have never done daycare with Cam. I switched my schedule to work night shift, and my husband actually works from home some days out of the week, and then he goes in the office those other days of the week. So we've made our schedules to where they're alternating, so that if I work at night, the next day is the day that he's working from home, so he has her and can watch her. Now with another baby, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it's not something we haven't done, but we're going to see how it works. But as of right now, we plan on still not doing daycare for either of them. Cam will probably go to preschool at some point in the fall next year, so that will be like one less child home for a couple hours. But in the beginning stages, we are still team no daycare, team not paying for anything more in this economy. But we're gonna make it work, and I'm gonna try to make my schedule in a way that it will work. I probably will be dropping my hours down to make it work, and that'll be fine, because I am part-time now, but I'm probably dropping my hours even more, so that maybe I just work 2 days a week, and honestly I can like spread them out, work one day in the beginning, one day at the end, or work weekends, Friday, Saturday, and then I don't have to worry about it. I can be home all week. So we'll make it work. That's the perks of being a nurse, is working your 12-hour shifts and being able to do part-time and being able to do like night shift. So we will not be paying for daycare, and I won't be staying home completely. So yeah, we are blessed in that aspect that I chose nursing as my career. But we'll see how it works, because obviously, like I said, when my husband's home, it's going to be hard for him to take care of a baby and a toddler if I'm asleep, if I'm working like the night before. But honestly, with Cam, y'all, I was kind of crazy. I would be, not crazy, but I would work nights and stay up when I got home until it was time for her to take a nap. And then I would nap with her, and then my husband would be home. So it was exhausting, but we did what we had to do. And, you know, not being pregnant and staying up is way easier than me staying up. So we will get the schedule to work out. But that is all the questions that I have. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you have any more questions, comment them down below. Honestly, comment down below postpartum questions, like after birth questions, so then I can after having the baby can work on doing another Q&A postpartum and birth experience and all that good stuff, so I can already have that to kind of think about what it is that y'all would want to know. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. Mondays will be more of my motherhood content, so if that's why you have like gravitated towards my channel, Mondays will be motherhood and lifestyle, and then my Friday videos are faith and finance. So just to put that out there. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
So I'ma enjoy this moment. It's the day that the Lord has made. Nothing to see, nothing to talk about. Oh, it's good to know.